Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets hot here in the summertime. That's why I figured you might have AC or something, you know.
Yeah, we got fans. We set up in like big swamp cooler things, but
well, listen. I really appreciate you coming on to the show. I really appreciate you having us here. Like, this has already been a really cool experience. Like I was just saying to you outside. So Matt Hardy, he was already familiar with your ranch. He's already watched videos of, you know, guys racing and practicing. And so when I got here the other day, and my eyes were just so big, and I then coming into here, and you know, just your driveway with the American flag, I'm just like, damn.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
I just had a vision for it and set it up, and I go, you know what? We had a big palm tree right there, and I'm like, no, I ain't cutting it, man.
Yeah.
I got to put a flagpole in. I didn't know what it meant to put a flagpole in at 45 feet. And it was a big ordeal, dude. I mean, the footing on that thing is 8x8 deep with rebar, because people don't realize how much torque is on the top of a flagpole, man.
Right.
We have a 15-foot flag up there, and it's blowing 60 miles an hour. It's just a big deal. It was a big construction project, but we enjoyed it.
Yeah, the wind does get pretty crazy right here. It comes over those mountains, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, no.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, man. So I really appreciate you coming on the show too. I mean, we just wanted to do a podcast and just kind of just talk about the event and where we're at, but having you on is just a big bonus.
Oh, thank you, man.
So, well, I like to start my shows off just like with a simple question of like, where are you from?
Right here, Marietta, California.
Wow.
You know, Southern California, Marietta boy. Grew up, went to elementary school right down the street. I know everybody here.
Right.
You know, just been here. So
that's a long time. You were here like when there was like maybe just like 4 houses, you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I used to have a dirt road. I'd walk to school, you know, and just pick up gopher snakes and take them to class and scare the teacher.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Rattlers, dude. Awesome. Used to take rattlers to them.
Couldn't find a damn rattler. They're all pussy snakes, but
really?
Just did
That's
my
even
best.
funnier though to think about. You're just like, fucking, hey, what's going on? The fucking wild man Jeff, dude.
That's how it was.
Crocodile Dundee meets Jeff from Marietta. Fucking.
I think we probably, you're saying here and everything, but for people that don't know, we should probably give the full backstory. So
here
is Blackmore Ranch, and we're talking to the owner of Blackmore Ranch, Jeff.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't know, for those who don't know, it's a motorcycle paradise, really. Everything you can imagine, literally everything you can imagine, I guess not even just a motorcycle paradise, but a man cave, you know, enthusiast paradise. You have everything, pump tracks and putting greens and the ponds.
Is there fish in the pond?
Oh yeah, we got some bass in there.
What the heck? Dude?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, I got my younger buddies. They're all into fishing, and I go, okay, whoever brings a 3-pound plus bass gets $50, and turn them loose in my pond. Like, bring the bass. And they're all like, now it's a competition. Everybody's bringing ice chests full of big old bass, you know.
Wow.
And we just grew it, and now they're biting. So
really,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we got 7-pounders plus in there. Yeah.
Well, I should have brought my fishing pole. Dang, I thought it was just for looks, to be honest. Like, oh, cool, there's a putting green with a pond. Makes sense. I had no idea. Bass fishing. You might want to loan me a fishing rod, Jeff. You know what I mean?
You got it.
Get after it, dude. God, yeah. Man cave is not even like, it doesn't even do this place justice.
I mean, I think you should probably just start off with like some backstory, like where things started for you, and kind of maybe some of those first moments of how you got so interested in dirt bikes and off-road stuff.
Yeah, you know, we grew up right here, and it was back in the day when if you didn't do construction, you didn't have jack nothing in this town, because it was a developing town. And we were in the heavy equipment business. And it was like kind of a lead in, like we were the ones, and we built most of the roads and highways around here, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It really went well for us. And then, then it turned into a big city, and the competitors came in, and it kind of got a little hard on us. But it gave us a foundation. And my grandpa bought the original ranch in 1940 out here in Cal Oaks, 1,200 acres. And my dad and my uncle grew up there, and we just had ample land. And I was a young guy in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I got an XR75 and started riding dirt bikes, and then started going to Rawhide Park and Saddleback and doing some stuff. And then my neighbors knew Jeff Ward and Rick Ash with Kawasaki, and they started coming out, and they asked if they could ride on our property, and they'd burn tracks in. And by that time I was on, a YZ250 and got to ride with the best riders in the world right off the bat. And that didn't change, because all the way into my 50s and 60s, now with this ranch here, I'm riding with the best riders in the world all the time. Like Ryan Villapoto pulls up, do laps with him. Got the flat track doing laps with Jeffrey Carver and guys like that. And it really inspired me, just having the ability to do that. I never dreamed of it.
When you were young and factory Kawasaki shows up to your house, did you really, were you freaking out, or did you think that was kind of just that was life for you and it just seemed normal? Or
no, definitely wasn't life for me, because this was the big time when they pulled up. Like Wardy'd pull up in his Porsche and get out, and the whole team truck was there, and the bikes rolling out and stuff, and that was mind blowing, And then I finally convinced my parents to take me to a Supercross, and seeing all that and going, wow, this is that's what I want to do. But no, I get to go to work in construction, and my dad slapped me back and goes, no, son, that's not your path.
Yeah.
You got to get a shovel and go out there and work, So that's what I had to do. And that's that. But it was neat enjoying that. And I got to ride with the best guys and see what they were doing, and realized for myself that I couldn't do that shit, So it just was a real neat thing. And then it evolved into my later life, when I could afford to enjoy the sport and enjoy creating my passion on my own property. To showcase that really was awesome for me. So I just did it. I just went with it, So here we are.
Yeah. How long have you had this property then, I guess, or how long have you been building and working on it?
Well, my dad bought this property in 94. And it was just a field. And then he did a lot of stuff. He built these two shops that we're in now. He built the pond, paved the driveway, and got it all kind of set in its form. And then he passed away in 2015. And when he was dying, he asked me, what are you going to do at the ranch? And I go, I'm going to make it my home and turn it into my dream. And he goes, don't make a bunch of dirt bike tracks on it and fuck it up. And I went, dude,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, he's like, yeah, right.
No, a true story, dude. He goes,
Oh, my
don't
God.
jack it all with a bunch of tracks and stuff. And I go, yeah, watch.
Yeah.
So I sat back for a couple of years and kind of got my game plan and kind of laid it all out, and then did a little by little, and then now it's full-blown freaking moto park, with my museum and my stuff. So, yeah, he kind of lost with that one, but at least he gave me the footprint to do it, to chase my dreams.
Absolutely. I was going to say, we were talking a little bit outside too. So what did how did your dad pass away?
He had, it was tough. I saw him losing weight, and I'm like, Dad, you're losing weight. And he goes, pay attention to your own self.
Wow, he was hard, huh?
Oh, dude, hard
Just
as it
that
gets. Hard as it gets.
construction,
Pay
hard,
attention to your own
brute.
self. What are you looking at me for? I'm like, well, maybe you ought to, eat some potatoes and stuff, He's like, yeah, I got this. And then one day he called me up and he goes, hey, can you meet me at the ranch? And I go, yeah. And I said to myself, that's kind of weird. He never does that. So I drive from my office. We had a corporate office downtown. I'm driving in here, and he's pulling up in his pickup, and I'm pulling up behind him, and I'm like, something's off. So we went walking right into this room, and he goes, hey, I got to tell you, I have cancer, and I'm sick. I'm like, kind of like, I know. I can see you're losing a lot of weight. And he goes, well, I want to know what you're going to do if I pass away. And I was like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to keep going like I'm going. He's felt good at it. And then he looked at me and he goes, you know what your problem is? I'm like you're asking me what my problem is? He goes, yeah, you know what your problem is? And he goes, you're too emotional. He goes, you're just too emotional. I go, well, I'm sitting here teared up with my dad telling me he's going to die. So is that too emotional? And that's kind of like gives you a little layout of what he was like, And then sure enough, 3 months later, he passes away and I'm standing here by myself going, what am I going to do? So I just kept working, kept the businesses. We had 3 different companies going and just busy. And I go, I'm just going to be successful, I'm just going to run these companies and take them over. And, I had one company was mine and he had his premier company and I took the seat of his company. I put my VP in charge of my other company and just dove in and I buried myself into this place kind of as medicine.
Yeah.
And then bringing all my good, feelings of moto into it. So that's how it came.
Yeah. I mean, it started with him, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So this place was already built. He's here. You guys walked into this room even. I just got goosebumps when you're saying that to me.
Yeah. Well, that rug right there says generations of burning rubber.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my mantra for him and me is he grew up roasting tires with dragsters and hot rods, and I grew up roosting knobbies and burning the hills up.
Right.
So I made that logo after he passed and just run that now. And it's right here, generations of burning rubber. It's just keep it going.
Have you, from a couple of things that we were talking about earlier, and then like you just mentioned that rug, it sounds, and this place in general, you kind of have to have some artistic ability to make things like turn out like this. Have you always been like artistic like that, or?
Yeah, I've always been an artist. I've always wanted to create stuff and build stuff, and I've always set out to, make great sight lines and have things laid out, whether it's the landscape or this or that, or paintings or pictures or logos or stuff. I don't consider myself good at it, but I've always had a passion for that, and I want to share that a little bit. And if you notice, if you're on this ranch, there's a lot of artwork here.
There is.
And Paul Klein, that does all my artsy steel work with the lights and the things in this place. He's phenomenal. It's called NAR Art, and he builds, like, I just tell him, like, right now he's building me a pool table light out of a Chevy 357 frickin' deal, going to go over the pool table. He's building it for me right now. He's always kind of doing a project for me, and then myself, I always tried to do something with it, because I think that if you have time to sit down, you should be putting stuff on paper and doing stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a fantastic question because to be honest with you, I was like, yeah, you got some cool bikes that are hanging from but it's like even the table that we're sitting at, like this is an art piece. And there's so many things that are around, like your tractors that are set up too. It's like a museum. Like that was what's so fascinating to me. It was like coming to a motocross track or a flat track and like seeing tractors and like how beautiful a landscape is here. I'm just blown away, especially when you have, 20 acres, you said?
Yeah.
And everything on your 20 acres has been touched.
It looks like everything's meant to be where it's at. And I mean, even just like the track having track markers, like that's so overkill, but so cool. Like,
Yeah. And I like to, I wake up at 2 a.m. and go, bing, I got an idea. And man, it's done. So like say, I like to create sight lines. Like my main thing here is every angle that you look out of anywhere you are here, it looks like could be a picture frame. And a lot of people don't have that where they just put trees in dumb spots. And like I planted most of the trees here, except for these 200-year-old ones. But make it so you frame in everything and do it right. And just, and then organizing all the bikes on the walls and stuff, and like put a lot of thought into it, and kind of winged it too. But just, it's not just dumb.
You can tell that you definitely put some time into everything that's here.
Yeah, and I had a lot of good help. I had a lot of good employees help me. Having a construction company and it rains for 2 weeks, bring the boys in here, and I got fabricators. I got people that have talent, and I can pretty much just figure it out for myself and go, let's do this, let's do that. Can we do this? Yeah, we can do that. Boom.
Right.
And we made things happen. So
how many events do you have a year?
Last year, we didn't do much. We kind of shut it down and didn't do anything because we remodeled that entire house up there. And I call it a restoration or restromod. We took the old ranch house and just kept its same feel and premise, but just made it new again. Took 18 months. So I didn't want to have events going when that thing, like we tore the roof off and the walls off, like re-stuccoed it. The whole thing's brand new. So we kind of backed off, but we had a little momentum leading into that. And then a pipe broke in the house and jacked a bunch of stuff up. So we pulled back, moved off the ranch, got contractors in here, did all that. And then we got back in last October, kind of straightened our shit up, got comfortable, and now we're going like, okay, we want to do some stuff and see what we can do here and see if we can let, the motorcycle industry come in and enjoy this place and see, because you're never really validated until you have an event and you have people that are, huge in the industry come here. And I always watch, like, are they enjoying it? Is this something? Because believe me, Pro Circuit could build a building better than me and have more monumental bikes than me and do all. This is just a construction guy doing his best.
Yeah.
And I never know until everybody leaves, and I ask them, like, was it good? Like, oh yeah, it was great. Yeah. But so
I think that's the best part about this place, though.
It's homegrown. It's just like place. I never even really planned it.
Yeah, it's Jeff's pad. That's fucking the best man cave I've ever seen, with a sick ass track and a nice guy too. So, I mean, it's like me. I'm a thinker too. So I've already thought about two other events that I can have here. Like if everything goes good.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, I'm in.
I'm like, what I think about too, like because none of this was necessarily like planned. I just look at everything in here and, riders' helmets and all these different bikes. And like, I think what the bikes and all the gear did, like what they physically did is really cool also. But even just the stories of collecting all this stuff and how it came into your life is probably like, there's probably so many different memories tied to it all, even when it comes to just that.
Yeah, it's really weird. I bought a couple bikes. I thought this shop was empty, and I'm like, we had the bar and a little lounge set up. It wasn't even nice like this, but I bought a CR250 and put it on the floor, and bought a CR500 behind me and put it on the floor, and had some bikes, and then I'd have a party and everybody coming over and going, and it just kind of happened on its own. Like it got to where word of mouth was like, oh, I got this old bike. Blackmore probably want it. And I got, and it just started growing, and, I've been friends with Jeremy McGrath and Grant Langston and Tyler Bierman. They're all my buddies, and they wanted to bring their bikes in here. Never really asked them. They just came here and drank beers with me and had a good time and go, wow, I got this bike. It's just collecting dust in my shop. Like, I'll bring it down. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. So we got some of those, and, Mike Metzger brought this one over, and just appreciate him, and just a lot of good things. And then I got into like the bikes of my dreams, and I started hunting down. I hunted down my XR75, 73 my first real bike that I had, and it got stolen in Mexico after 3 months of owning it. But, I just got a lot of memories. I'm like, and then I went into the bikes that influenced me, like being a little guy, being a Grom on a little XR, a little mini bike, and then seeing like Pomeroy on a Bull Taco. I'm like, oh my God, that's God to me,
Yeah.
and I go, I want a Bull Taco, man. I want a Persang on the wall, and Malcolm Smith doing the Husky thing. I gotta have one of those, because as a little kid, I was just like so stoked to see those guys, and they were all older than me, and they were all men, and I was just a little boy just going, fuck, I want to ride, man. I want to ride. I'm going to do a wheelie like that. Just watch. Right. I'm going to do it.
Right.
And that's how I grew up, right there.
What was it like hanging out with Jeremy McGrath? I mean, to me, like that was the guy that when I started watching Supercross, like he was amazing.
The king.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy lived right up the street.
I remember, didn't he live like off the 215,
yeah,
right?
Right
like
up the street.
He had a track, right?
And we used to have dirt bike tracks before all the housing tracks. And we'd have tracks that linked to tracks all across, and it would go all the way to his house from my house, all the way across the valley here. And we drive by the freeway and we see someone's building like a BMX track. I'm like, oh, there's a BMX track there. And then Jack McGrath, Jeremy's dad, called my company, and I happened to answer the phone. He goes, yeah, my kid's, pretty good on Supercross. He's just signed with Team Green, and he's going pro. And he goes, I need a bulldozer to make him a practice track at my house. So I go, yeah, I got a D6 I'll take over there, and da-da-da. So we go over there, and Jeremy's, he's just a kid, he's probably 15, 16 years old. And we're striking off, pushing dirt up and making him a Supercross track. And we built this whole track. And later on, we're all out riding in the hills. I'm like, let's go check out Jeremy's track. So we go over there, and we're like looking through the fence, and no one's home. And we're all sitting there, and the track's all perfect. And it's all perfect. I'm like with 5 guys, and we're all on CR250s. And I'm like, fuck, there's a hole in the fence right there. Let's go ride this track. So we fully post this track, dude. Just riding this track for like half a day, and like just blew it up, dude. Like before we even got to. And then we all like, dude, no one tells anybody.
Yeah.
And then like 15, 20 years later, Jeremy came over here, and I told him, he goes, you were the guy that did that. I go, it wasn't me, it was my friends.
Yeah.
I was in on it too.
That's
kind of
hilarious.
But that's how that goes. And then, we've been like, we're not really super close friends, but if I call him, he'll talk to me. And he, of course, brings his bike up here and hangs out once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a lot of fantastic things, but I was obviously the first thing I saw the number 2, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's the real deal. 2005 factory Honda right there, and it's very special and dear to me. But Jeremy owns it. It's not a Blackmore Ranch piece.
Yeah.
But it's here, and he's got to really, really work hard to get it back. I'm like, okay, yeah, go get it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You made it a little hard to get off the wall just because.
But, in all fairness, I didn't want that thing to get stolen out of here. So I'm like, it's bolted to the freaking wall up there and no one can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
You
I
know.
guess that, I mean, you brought that up. That's like the scary thing in a sense of having people come to your property, you know? I mean, honestly, I never even thought about that until you just said it, and I'm just like, ugh.
Well, I got Coco and I got a lot of arms and a lot of cameras.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So
we're always here, and there's always someone here. It's just like kind of like, yeah, you know, might not be a good idea to come in here.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
the
funny.
AKs all over your head, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we don't call the cops around here, sucker.
no,
you know
no,
what I mean?
actually, we don't want the cops.
Yeah, they don't need any reasons to poke around.
You know, that's funny too. You like understand heavier equipment, so they're not going to find your body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Couple
good.
cinder blocks in the bottom of the pond, and the fish are eating good. So
Yeah. It's all good. Fuck around and find out, my friend.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there's always someone here. So
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about it. And
Yeah.
so
Well, you have good people that come around though too. So
yeah.
You know, that's
a
what
lot
it
of people
is.
have my back, and you know, life's tough, and you know, growing up and trying to be somebody and working hard, it's hard enough, but you gotta have good friends, and you gotta have good family behind you, and I think that's the key to a lot of it. Is having, like, I got a tight group of friends. It's not big, but it's fucking tight, and I love them, you know, and I tell them,
Yeah. I'm an emotional person like you are too.
yeah,
So I tell my friends if I'm sad, mad, or angry, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I say I love you and that sort of thing. It's funny, like, you know, I'm 44 and I'm just now figuring that out about like having that tight group of friends and like having, you know, friends, but you having that really tight circle that you can count on,
yeah,
you know. And I found it, and I'm like extremely grateful for it, you know.
yeah. The ones that'll tell you you're being stupid or tell you
Yeah.
you're being good,
Yeah.
and you don't take it wrong.
Right.
And they're just there, and if you need something, they're there, and when they need something, you're there for them.
What I found out was like some of my relationships were just like surface level.
Yeah,
You know, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm getting to the point to where I'm like, man, like I want to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to like be able to like say what's on my mind and vice versa, where it's not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt.
Well, you know what's really strange is, you know, when you meet somebody they can be your friend. Like, they might not be, you don't know them good enough, but you can see in their soul or their
Yeah.
mind, you can get the vibe, the feel. And then there's people that you just like, no, they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you got to go with your instincts with all that shit.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
I feel like too, you really only have so much energy to give to people. So you kind of,
Exactly.
I'm learning that like so much right now that you just have to be selective, because if you want to have good relationships with people,
Yeah.
you only have so much to give.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, you can't just spend your whole day working for your 250 friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Or spend 10 minutes a day working for 5 friends that, you know, that really deserve it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about the ranch?
You know, that's like, people ask me that. Like, I really don't know, because I walk around going, oh, that's bitching. Oh, that's bitching. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Actually, I think the vibe,
Yeah.
and I don't think that comes from me. I think it comes from the property.
Yeah.
Like, these trees behind me were planted by Santa Fe Railroad in 1860.
Wow.
And are probably the oldest, biggest trees in this valley right now, because everybody mowed them down. But they have a certain, like, this probably wouldn't even be what it is without those. I mean, they're sitting just perfectly placed in the right position. They're gorgeous. They're freaking old as hell. Like, the trunks are 12 feet thick. There's just something about that. Even if you don't really pay attention to them, you come in here, there's a vibe here with it.
Yeah.
And then they add the aspects of the water and the ducks flying in and the birds and this and that. And the way when kids come here and they get on their Stasic and they go riding around, the energy from having them have open space.
Yeah.
That's probably my most favorite thing about the place.
Even just tonight, actually, when we came back from the store, you had left the stereo on, and it just kind of reminded me of like my dad's shop. Like when I'd come home and the radio was on the classic rock station all the time. It didn't matter if he was in there or not. Like the radio was always on, the door was always open, there was always a light on, and there was always 5 projects in there and bikes torn apart and rock crawlers, and like there's definitely, like, I noticed the first day we came here to shoot that video, the vibe here is just, I don't know, it's peaceful. Like, the flag waving around, like,
I get up in the morning, come open that door, click the lights on, click the TV on, and then I'll pull out, take my daughter to school, and it'll be like that all day, and I don't even go in here, but I just, for some reason, it's a part of me there, and I just want it open and on. Like, my fiance Jen's like, you leave the light on down there, you electric bills and this now. I'm like, no, that's it. I want to pull up and have it on. I don't want to pull up and have to turn it on. I want to pull up and feel good and have that thing lit up and going and have music playing. And when I pull in and get out of my car. Yeah. So you can pay attention to the kitchen up there. That's that.
Might need to edit that out for my dog Jeff here, but we're going to figure that out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was like allegedly, you know what I mean? You go to the kitchen, basically. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, whatever, dude. Allegedly. Yeah. Woo! Fuck it, Jeff's on fire. Don't get it fucked up. Yeah, I agree, though. I mean, that is a total vibe. I don't know, for me, like I was saying, my dad had a property that was like really close here, so we had a bunch of those trees too, and it was like, we always got wind up here, and so those trees just like howl.
Yeah.
Too, when the wind's blowing.
The noise is so bitching.
Yeah, I mean, it's very peaceful, man. Like everything that you've done here is just immaculate. From just the DG, you allowed us to come and stay the night up here and get ready for the show tomorrow, and like just the pads that are up there are just dialed, Yeah.
We try, and I tell everybody that comes around and helps me do work here, like, the only reason this place is cool and people want to come here because it's kept. Yeah. If there was tumbleweeds blowing around and weeds growing up, and like, who wants to give a shit about that? Yeah. People like to see the toils of labor and the profits of labor. Yeah. And this is kind of what we represent, like hard work. Yeah. And in a nutshell, like, we set out, I didn't want this ranch to be Pastrana land with a bunch of, freaking jumps everywhere and all this stuff laying all over the place and just a mess. Not that his place is, but I didn't want it to look like a dirt biker's just freaking playhouse with scattered shit everywhere. I wanted to keep the California historic ranch feel to this place, but integrate moto into it. Okay? Because I grew up where the cattle ranchers and the people that had ranches didn't really appreciate dirt bikers because they scared the cows, they cut the fences, they burned up the alfalfa and the oats, and they tore the hills up. And, I went through that because my uncle was a cattle rancher, and we're out roosting. We go burning a track on this North 40, and all of a sudden, dude, we're freaking got our asses beat because we tore up a bunch of oats and just tore it up. And I'm like, okay, this is a fusion of, I want it to look like a historic rancher's ranch, but I want it to be infused with moto.
Nailed it.
And I just work at that.
Fucking nailed it.
Work at that. To keep the history and respect for my forefathers and integrate my passion and love for motorcycles. Awesome. In a nutshell.
I think earlier you were talking about just kind of like the hard work that it's taken you to get to this place in your life. I mean, for guys that are, interested in action sports of any kind and are, like, what kind of advice would you give people like that are, want to get to a point like this in their life someday?
Well, it's getting harder. It's getting harder. with social media and everybody trying to show off and looking in the wrong directions. I think if you're not working every week and putting something away and saving it and figuring out how to invest it and building your net worth at a young age, it's probably not going to happen. So wealth building is, a very important part of anybody's lives. They're, young people, they need to put some money away. Like, I know these kids in their 20s are like, the minute they get $400, they want to go to Vegas, and go, shit, that ain't nothing. You're going to go blow it. Like, just stick 200 away and go to work, take up an extra day shift and put work in, It's not all about having fun all the time. You're going to live a long time. You just got to do it right. So, and I tell my daughter, I go, look, you're 19, you're out of school, you want to be a dog groomer, you want to do this, you don't really know what you really want to do as an adult, you don't have to push that. Just get a job, work hard, and put $200 a week away out of your pay. Put it in the bank and save it. 200, 200. $800 a month, $600 a month if you have a hard time. Put that away and just chill out and just do what you do and have some fun with your friends. And then when an opportunity comes, at least you have something you can act on. Like if someone said, hey, we got this job up at, here, you got to move up here and get an apartment, you can take this job. At least you got $2, $3, $4 in the bank to go rent an apartment and go take on an opportunity. But if you're dead ass broke, you can't even go show up to get there. Mm-hmm. So I think if you don't know what to do, just work hard doing what you don't want to do. Put a little bit of money away and build up a little bit of cash in your pocket, which is your security. And then, if you practice your passions, doors open. Like if you like music or you like dirt bikes or you like something, go enjoy your passions and get to know people in the industry. And if you really like that industry, you might not see any way to make money at it, but if you're working the job you don't like and putting a little bit away, maybe if you're really passionate about something, someone's going, hey, we need someone like you. But you got to have enough foundation to go act on it. So if you don't know what to do, just do what you don't want to do and put a little bit of money away and wait. Be patient.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
That's what I think. But I'm just me. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had your fair amount of struggles through your business career.
Oh, God. That could go for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
My dad was a hard driver and, he wanted me to work my ass off for nothing and take all the responsibility. And, I was generally the responsible guy for all the operations of our company. Then finally one day I woke up and I go, I ain't doing this for him anymore. He's such a slave driver and such a prick. He really wasn't, but he didn't know really how to treat me. Mm. So I fucking quit.
Do you have brothers or siblings or no?
I have two younger sisters, and they went off and they're doing their own thing. But I quit them, and I went and started another company and started actually not really competing with them. I started doing more contract work, and then I grew to a point and I started renting his tractors. And then I got real big, and I go, hey, I called my dad up. I go, hey, you want to do a merger? I just took on a big contract. You want to do a merger? He goes, yeah, 50-50. I go, no. It's not going to be 50-50, buddy. I'm bringing all this work in here.
Yeah.
And I worked a deal out with him, and we brought another partner in to help manage it. And then we took off and really went gangbusters, So it worked out really good. Oh, God, that was like 2004.
So it was like boom time here, huh?
Yeah. We started building high schools and hospitals and all kinds of stuff like that. Like doing just massive earthwork and, site work and subcontracting all the curb and gutter and landscape, concrete, asphalt paving, roads, doing all that. And we went like crazy it wasn't all me. I had a good team. And when I linked up back with my dad, we got a good relationship and set up a good corporate structure and went after it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was pumping concrete in this area about 2006 when like things started going really south, and I was here like watching the foreclosure thing happen. With
Yeah, it was crazy.
that was insane. There's
Yeah,
so
the
many
rug
places.
got pulled out from us.
Yeah,
I lost millions.
really. I mean, that was gonna
2006, late 2006. Man, I got
late. It was late 2006. It didn't get better until like 2009. I mean, work wise a little bit, but I had to sell that part. I had to sell that business. I had to sell the pumps and move on and get a regular job, which I was completely bummed out about.
Yeah, you
I
couldn't
had
even
fun.
buy a job back then. Like nobody was working.
Yeah.
Nobody. It was dried
Yeah,
up.
people were foreclosing houses and they were like taking out light bulbs, lights, fixtures. Like,
Yeah,
it was
horrible.
wild times.
Wild times.
But everybody, it was funny, not funny, but like everybody bought a house and they bought a trailer and they bought a boat and like there was just fucking money was everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, and I hope that doesn't happen again. It seems to be different now with this economy. I mean, I don't think I think there's a lot of pain to pay for.
Yeah.
A lot of pain coming that we got to pay off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Future's looking brighter to me now than it was a year ago, 2 years ago.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I'm just looking. Finally, I wake up having a positive outlook. Whereas before, it's just dismal, man. It was just like, really? Couldn't even believe it, what was going on. Now there's hope, but I'm getting a lot more calls, people wanting to come in here and do stuff. Seems like people are enjoying their lives a little more. So I'm happy about it.
That's always a good sign, I feel like, for the economy if people are wanting to do events or.
I mean, the motorcycle industry, the apparel industry, especially the bicycle industry, mountain bike, they're really suffering right now.
So bad.
So bad. And I just hope that turns around. But I think we had an oversaturation, especially with COVID and everybody jumping in. And this big COVID thing was a dynamic we never thought would ever happen. But people had a weird psychology on, hey, is life ending? I want to finally go get that bike and go ride it. Like really weird, right? We were all insecure at the time. We didn't know what the hell this thing was going to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you had something, you're like, I'm doing it now because I don't know if I'll ever be able to.
Yeah.
So it's time to go buy that car or that boat or that bike or that dirt bike or whatever. And you saw it, right? And then it just stopped.
Yeah.
Fucking
You
mainstream
couldn't even
media,
find a dirt
dude.
bike at the freaking motorcycle shop. You couldn't even
Dude,
find one.
Cars were insane.
I know. Now
The
there's
price of a truck,
40
car.
450s lined up in a row. You can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. I don't know.
I can't even imagine being like, because a lot of bicycle companies they have to plan for their inventory like a year ahead or whatever. And I can't imagine being that guy during COVID that has to plan for your inventory. And then and you're like climbing and climbing. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I made a big mistake. We have a lot of stuff and we can't sell any of it.
Yeah. Well, pre-COVID, they couldn't make enough stuff. Or during COVID, the pipeline just shut off. If you had bikes, you couldn't get pedals, and you couldn't get wheels. You couldn't get this, couldn't get that. So people overbought. Like they go like, I'm going to order more and more and more. And then when it shut off, all of a sudden there's inventories everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a wild time. I hope we never have to see that again. But I was working in retail when it happened to us. So I was working at Home Depot. It was fucking wild, wild west shit. Like you talk about when we were out of stuff, but people would buy whatever the fuck was on the shelf. It was bizarre. Like that whole joke of like, we sold out of toilet paper. Like that was legit. Like we were completely sold out. I've never seen a big box store completely wall to wall. Like shit was off the shelves.
Yeah.
Like fucking insane.
No, I think people lost their shit. They lost their marbles. I just sat back and watched it and just tried to play my own mindset with it and going, hey, there's more to this. This is kind of a bullshit deal. Yeah. Just sat back and kind of departmentalized it all and kind of figured it, kind of nailed it.
Yeah.
But
I never was really a mask goer guy, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to wear a mask at all.
no, I never did.
Where were you at when COVID happened, Matt?
Well, actually, it was so weird. I was in Vegas for the Mint 400, and I was racing flat track that weekend when they like shut Vegas down.
Really?
Which was super weird. Like, it was so eerie, and there was like all these, like, the highway signs were like talking about, I don't remember what they were saying, but it was like,
You will die.
well, it was like the borders were closed or whatever they were saying, you know? Like,
Yeah.
clearly they weren't, because I could drive across them, but it was just so weird, and everybody was so scared, and I don't know, it was really interesting. But I was in Colorado, which was like, I don't know, probably as bad as it was here, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, every state was different, right? So it just depended on what state you lived in. You know, my sister lived in Montana, and they're like, "Nah, I don't even know what a mask is." You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we were sitting here, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just stay right here.
yeah, you're at the ranch, dude.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I'm gonna be in a man cave.
Yeah,
Y'all
like
keep that
I didn't even
COVID
really
shit out
feel
of here,
it.
bro.
I'm like riding my dirt bike, inviting my friends over. We
Yeah.
had some freaking parties and some stuff, and no one really got sick, and
yeah,
it was nuts. I'm like, okay.
what a
Right.
time.
Not going to go to the movie theater and sit there and freaking I'm just going to be here and
Yeah.
have fun.
What about your favorite memory? Like, what's your favorite memory that you've had here?
All different categories of memories, but we had 805 here for the house that built me, Tyler Behrman,
Yeah.
and they asked to do a movie premiere for that. And it's a little short movie. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we started working on it, formatting it, getting it all set up. And then I'm out there riding motos, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if Tyler was jumping the driveway when all the guests, because there's 300 guests coming in for the premiere. We filled this whole thing, 250 tables, 50 people here, people out there. We had a 20-foot screen right there. I'm like, they're all coming in here to enjoy this thing. And so I built a double going from one side of the driveway to the other, then a super cross section, gnarly super cross section, like a rhythm, and then a bowl, and then a hip back over. And I didn't even tell Tyler. I had Dirtworks here building 12-foot freaking
Really?
jump to jump, 85 foot, 87 foot across. And they just, Randy Menenga goes, I know how to do it. I know what angles the lip has to be. I know the distance. I know this and that. And I go, okay, build it. So we're moving dirt around, and we really worked hard. I mean, we moved a lot of dirt. It's a lot of dirt to do that. And so we built it all. And then, lo and behold, Tyler calls me up. He goes, what are you doing, Blackmore? Because I'm in town. I want to cruise by. I go, cruise on up by. I want you to see something.
Yeah.
So he comes rolling in. He's like looking at us. He's like, no way, dude. No way. And he's walking up and down the ramps and looking at them and going, oh, fuck, dude, no way. And I go, yeah. I go, you're going to jump from here to here, do the rhythm section, and jump from here to here, and then do that bowl and jump from here to here. And you're going to do it when all the guests are pulling in. You're going to fly over everybody. He's like, oh, shit, yeah. He goes, do you mind if I get Axel Hodges to come do it with me? Oh, no. I go, if it's okay with you, it's okay with 805, it's okay with me. He goes, oh, yeah, it's good with them. So we got it all set up that day. It was just freaking epic. It was epic. I mean, Tyler and Axel riding around, and they were like, you know how those guys are. They'll jump anything. They were like riding around going, oh, shit, we can't roll it first because the fences and the driveway and all the shit. I'm going, no, you got to just huck. They're like, oh, we're scared. They're riding around the track, and finally Axel just freaking brought right over that thing. I mean, it's so high in the air. like mind blown. Then Tyler just came and followed them up with a big whip over it.
Yeah.
And then they were just going, and then all the cars started pouring in, and it was just those two cats just and the cars coming in. It was mind blowing.
Fuck yeah.
That's so sick.
That was
Such amazing.
probably my favorite event.
Yeah,
But we've had a bunch,
Right.
you know.
it's cool.
But
Yeah,
Even
I
the-
don't know, man. I mean, this one that's going to happen tomorrow is going to be pretty hard to top, you know. So
yeah,
I don't know. I wish, man. You talk about fantastic riders and like so much skill. Axel is just insane.
dude, unbelievable, right?
Insane.
And
Yeah.
extreme style, dude. He's
So
just got the
creative.
style. He just
Yeah.
looks fluid.
Totally. It just looks like make believe.
Yeah, his crashes look good.
Yeah.
I always found it fascinating when I watch people that were that talented and they crash and they made the crashes look cool, and I'm like, how the fuck, you know?
Yeah,
What a thing that I was like, a video that I really liked that you guys did here was I don't know if it was like pre-Supercross season for Gas.
oh yeah,
Like how you guys they landed a helicopter here and they were like racing flat track on the two
oh yeah.
strokes.
That was pretty epic. So Gas Trail team, they wanted to do their media day for Supercross. So we set it all up, and they go like, "We want to ride the flat track," and I'm like, "Okay." They go, "We're going to bring the big rig in." I go, "Okay." So they go, "We're going to build some flat track bikes for Barsha and for Ryan Sipes and Pierce Brown." Can't remember what other riders. So they built Ryan Sipes a 250 two-stroke flat track bike. And I think Barsha was on one too. I think they built two of them. And they go, "We're going to fly them in a helicopter, and they're going to land, and they're going to get on these flat track bikes and start whaling laps." I'm like, okay. Well, then it rains for like 5 days, and it's just the track is like mud. So we're up and just dozing water off the track and tilling it, and it's not going to be flat track. It's going to be oval motocross. Because it's going to berm up and be ruts and just be gnarly, whooped out, breaking bumps coming in. And we just kept working and working the dirt. And by the time they rode, it was pretty dang good. And they did laps, and those guys wailed. They weren't riding typical flat track. They weren't riding flat track style. They were riding moto style. Like it was whole shot first turn. On turn one, and that was turn two,
Yeah.
berm. Then turn three was whole shot, left turn at a Supercross,
Right.
and they were going around. And then they go, "We're going to run the other way," and they had transponders on them, and they were competing. And Sipes was going right-handed all the way around and zeroing his left-hand times.
No way.
Zero.
Damn.
And wailing like as fast as I ever seen anybody go around. And it was just rough and tacky and kind of muddy, and it was scary looking.
That's crazy. What's it like to work with brands that big, like Gas and things like that?
Once they decide to do something, they're all in. So it's like getting them to the table is the big thing, just like getting them to want to be here. And we had Honda here before them, and that kind of like set a mark. Then they wanted to change it up from what Honda did. They wanted to make it more of like California Surfer. They had urethane playing with, this Steve Caballero and just fun times and great music. And Honda's just, Honda is just so strict and just laid straight, like it's all like the pits at the races, and but Gas came in and just threw a freaking party. And it was kind of cool, to see that. Troy Lee's here bopping around, having fun, and everybody's just chilling, drinking beers and having a good time, and it was a blast.
Those guys get rowdy too.
Yeah. Especially Troy, man. I grew up partying with that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He's a lot of fun, man. He's a good dude.
What would be like your favorite rider that you've watched here? I guess you kind of mentioned Tyler, but that was...
I'm really into racing. I really appreciate the free ride. I wasn't really a FMX fan too much. But racing Supercross, to me, that's the real man. You know, flat out straight away. You know, I love watching Ken Roxon go through his career with all his, you know, hard work and going through all his injuries. And I really enjoyed, you know, Eli Tomac just being like the sustainable freaking workhorse, freaking gonna lay it down and get business done. And then watching Jet and Hunter come in, I'm like, you can't help but love those guys for them to elevate like extreme precision and style. So there's a lot to offer with Supercross right now. A lot, you know. And not to mention Pierce Brown last year went in the last round, and I'm just devastated that he got hurt in round one. And like I thought he could win a championship. And then he's broken, you know. So that's kind of an upset, but it's a gnarly game, man.
Yeah.
It's the gnarliest sport on earth. And it's almost, you know, right now the top guys are taken out. Hunter's out, Jet's out, Eli's out, Pierce Brown's out. Like, it's just, but the racing's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it gives Ken Roxon a chance to get in there. And, of course, Chase is freaking hauling balls. So, it's still fun.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
How many broken bones have you had?
I broke my hand. I broke my collarbone. I dislocated my knee. Dislocated my shoulder twice. That's it. Like pretty good. Like I'm like thinking I got away with this shit.
Yeah, really.
That's why when you ask me to go burn some laps out, I go, ooh, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Go flip one of those freaking Harleys over on my back right now.
Yeah.
You know. No, I'm careful now. I mean, I got a ride because like I felt great after doing just that.
Yeah, you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
can
like
see the smile on your
yeah,
face.
You're
Like,
happy.
Yeah, you know, and I haven't ridden flat track here in a long time, and I just thought, yeah, it's gonna be fun to get out there and just get the feel of it again. But yeah, you know, when I was younger, I don't care if I get hurt, I'm gonna go as fast as I can. Now I'm like, I'm gonna go out there and not get hurt, and if I go slow, then well, so be it.
Yeah. Still having fun.
Working on technique, man. I'm just like working on technique. Just, hey, don't give me any shit. Look at, see how I'm doing this, dude. See my feet are on the pegs. I'm like,
toes in. My toes are in.
yeah, I got my toes in, fucker.
Yeah.
Look at your duck feet.
Yeah.
You might have passed me, but you look like kook.
Right.
But anyways,
That's awesome.
it's all fun. It's all for fun.
Yeah.
What about, you kind of were talking to us earlier about just, you with your success, like you never changed what you were interested in. And like, I thought that was really interesting how you were talking about that.
You know, probably my vice is I grew up admiring fast cars, bitching fucking cars, which I never thought I could have one, but, I had some friends that their parents had Ferraris and stuff, and I just go look at them as a kid and go, holy shit, that's someday, man, someday. So I went through a phase, and, I got to a certain point, I bought a Ferrari and I bought a Lamborghini and bought a McLaren and freaking exercised those muscles, I just freaking got into that shit. Now I'm kind of over it. I mean, it's just way too much money, but basically, I just try to control doing what I want to do when I open my eyes in the morning. Just wake up and try to make things better every day. Just how can it be better? How can it be better?
What's Jeff's daily routine now?
I'm really into like getting up early, but having a slow morning. Like I love my coffee and a Zen.
Yeah, dude. As a matter of fact, this episode's brought to you by. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, and I got.
I figure if I keep saying that, I might get a sponsor. You know what I mean?
So,
like I fuck with Zen, dude.
And then
you know
I go
what I mean?
through the news and go through checking the markets and what's going on with the money stuff in the world, and then kind of just planning out who's coming and what's going on and the state of what we got to get ready and what we got to clean up from the last deal, and then trying to keep. Like there's a lot with like keeping the water in the ponds blue and keeping the grass cut right and the fertilizer and the trees and trees blow down and you got to saw them up and figure out what to do with stuff and trying to eliminate a lot of work that doesn't have to be done, but it has to be done because this is the way this is. Mm-hmm. You got to weed eat this because there's a fence post there and you're freaking. I'm looking at my guy spending 3 minutes weed eating around a fence post. I'm like, fuck, got to fucking put DG around that and cut the grass back over here so you don't have to do that anymore. Just eliminating like mindless, just spinning around doing shit you don't need to do, being smart, and then keeping all the pipes. The irrigation system here is enormous. It's 4 and 3 inch quadrants of valves and stuff, and when they break it's freaking 4 feet deep, and like you fix a pipe at your house, it's a freaking little deal and it's this deep, but here it's freaking it takes a freaking underground company to fix it,
right?
And that happens, and it's just trying to navigate through that and try to get through it, without just burning your money up. This place will smoke your wallet like most people. If I gave this place to them, they couldn't afford it for 2 months.
Right.
They'd be bankrupt, They got it for free.
Right.
So it's like people don't realize that part of it. Like my electric bill's $7,000 a month, so
yeah.
Wow.
That's a great house payment. Like you could live pretty good, right?
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's my electric bill, so.
No solar?
No, because we have 4 meters here. Everything's pretty big draw, so it needs a big system. So it's probably 150 to 170 grand per meter set up. And I'm like,
It's a lot of upfront money.
yeah. And then you got to look at the stuff. And I'm just like, I might put it on the house and do something later for that. But I'm looking, save $1,000. So like, dude, I'm bleeding everywhere else.
That's crazy. $7,000 for just an electric bill.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
but there's a lot here.
Yeah,
There's
there's
like 10 houses,
Yeah.
when you really look at it. So it makes sense. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. It definitely is.
How many, when your company was running strong, like how many people were you in charge of?
Oh, well, we had 2 companies, probably 20 in one and 40 in another.
Wow.
But they're all like high wage earners. It wasn't all minimum wage guys. It was like guys at 65 an hour, So it was a pretty big nut, and everybody was skilled labor. It wasn't just bottom dweller construction. We didn't have many laborers. It's all skilled operators. Mm. So, it was pretty tough.
Were you just a natural leader always, or was that a hard role for you? Or
no, I was pretty much a dick.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah, but hold on. There were some traits of that, right? Because construction guys were hard. Were you like one of those hard guys? Like, God damn it, get in there and get after it.
Yeah, I was pretty unique in my way because
I like
my
that.
dad busted my shit, and I always grew up with the crews. So
yeah.
When it came for me, I always had a sympathy, But then I was always had the gun at my head to pay for it all.
Yeah.
So it was the biggest struggle I had was being, loving my crews and my guys and trying to make them have a good day and get through the work and having a good time because life's short and you got to love your work to enjoy your life. But then having the gun at my head financially, I'm like, there's times It's time to get fucking shit done. Like, we got to bust our freaking balls right now. And there's always 2 or 3 guys out of 10 are like, fuck you, I ain't doing it. And then you get that.
Yeah.
And I try to make up for it on certain days when we had our slacker days, and we had our days we got to turn it on. And I thought communication's the best tool to deal with that kind of stuff. But, I'm not really an even flyer. I like get super excited and get on these endorphins, and then I get down and I get freaking gnarly and then come back up. And it's probably my biggest battle was dealing with that.
Right.
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't the best manager, but I put my life on it, and I went and did my best. I mean, they loved me and hated me too. So
Right.
It's just the way it was. And that's the way I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of contractors, and I don't know. My era was still like they're gonna throw a shovel at you. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. I don't think that they could do that anymore.
Yeah.
But my friend, he's in construction. He was like, "Yeah, I kind of yelled at somebody the other day, and he told on me for the HR." And I'm like, "Fuck, that was never the case when I was working, dude."
No. Yeah, the stuff
Better
I
get
went
the shit
through
done.
would never fly today.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All right.
Well, you got any more questions? I mean, this has been great, man. I really just appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You
Cool.
know,
I'd love you guys coming, and
Yeah.
like this is kind of what I do now. So
Yeah.
It's been a trip to I was telling him before we got started, just never thought that I would be here, like even just to watch other people ride, let alone ride the track. And then on top of that, being able to sit and listen to some of your story, and, you have a lot of experience, and it's so helpful for me to listen to guys that are passionate and about this kind of thing, because my dad kind of similar, he just couldn't, he got me into dirt bikes, but he just couldn't understand why I was so passionate about it. And it was tough, but it's so helpful to listen to you talk about your experience with your dad and business.
my dad hated dirt bikes.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what's going to happen? I go, what? He goes, you're going to break your wrist. You're going to be late for work. He didn't say I wasn't coming. You're going to be late.
You're gonna be late.
You're going to be late for work.
Yeah, you're gonna be hurting
fuck.
too in that tractor. You better figure it the fuck out. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Yep, no problem. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for tomorrow. I really appreciate you coming on my podcast, and Matt coming on and co-hosted with me today. I mean, this is just what a cool experience, and I just hope that we can do some more stuff together too, because I have some great ideas. Like this idea came to me, and I'm like, I had some friends get some Pan Ams, and I'm like, how cool would it be? Like, I know Justin, he's been on my podcast, and this industry is so cool because you just meet people along the way, and then it's my mind is it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Like, I'm ready to do a whole bunch of different stuff. So we do a lot of stuff in the industry, when it comes to stunt riding and bike motorcycle shows and bike games and stuff. So now with this Pan Am thing, I'm like, man, how cool would that be to ride a track, and to do some things that, people buy these bikes and they're probably never take them on the off-road,
Yep.
So now this is their chance to do it. So listen, Jeff, I appreciate you, man.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you guys coming.
Banger. That's what I got to say about that. Fucking banger, dude.
Woo.
Come on. Yeah, I hope Zen fucking caught onto that fucking promo, dude. You know what I mean? Zen,
if
you
you're
know what I
still
mean?
listening,
Zen, if you're still
an hour
listening,
and 8 minutes,
please.
we'd love to.
You know what I mean? I love peppermint. Yeah, well, dude, you fucking John Wayne it with no fucking jacket on the whole time, dude.
I felt so bad for you the whole
seriously,
time.
I could see her breathing going out. I'm like, get the gay. Come on, Nick, get him the fucking blanket already, dude. Come on, dude. Put a fucking burqa on, dude, or something. Oh, this was great, man. Seriously.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Seriously. So great, dude.